Good evening to you all. Welcome you for the Vayomanasa Sanjeevani Monday webinar series. I'm glad to invite you to the 100 program. And today we have our chairperson, Professor Srikala Bharat. Welcome you, ma'am, for the session. And we also welcome Professor P.T. Shivakumar, sir, HOD, Department of Geriatric Psychiatry, NIMHANS. Welcome you, sir. I also welcome our Associate Professor, Dr. Preeti Sinha, to this session. Welcome you, ma'am. And I also welcome our moderator, Dr. Vijay Kumar Herbishater, Assistant Professor, Department of Geriatric Psychiatry Unit, NIMHANS. Welcome you, sir. Today, on celebrating this 100 program, we have the short presentation by all our senior resident doctors of Geriatric Psychiatric Unit. I welcome all the senior resident doctors to this session. And over to you, sir, Dr. Vijay Kumar, sir. Thank you, sir.
Judges. Okay. So thanks, Annapurni, for nice introduction. So as Annapurni has already mentioned to you, today we are marking this program as a 100 program. And to begin with, I have to thank so many people, the presenters, the moderators who have contributed for the last 2 years and 99 programs, what they have done. And I don't know whether you had a chance to look at the videos which are available on the YouTube. This we are planning to assort them together under classified information under particular headings. We are going to put it in the VMS NIMHANS.in website very soon. So it's a long journey. This is a brainchild of our unit head, Professor P.T. Shivakumar. We didn't know that it would be so popular and go on for so long. At some point, we had glitches. We struggled to get people coming in, joining us. And in the overall, if you look at it, there were a variety of programs in all the aspects of healthy aging. It may be physical health, it may be mental health, it may be social issues. 2 weeks back, we had a police coming and talking about safety issues. And there's at some point, we also had a lawyer talking about various aspects. So we also had a session on Maintenance Act. So some legal aspects are also covered. So we have, it's a long journey we are covered. So we want to carry it forward in that respect, also to support our senior residents, senior doctors here to gain some experience, and they also start doing such public awareness program. We have decided to hold this competition where they'll have 5 minutes plus 1 minute, that's 6 minutes each. So each of the senior residents will speak about the topic of their choice, on the topic of their choice for 6 minutes, and it will be a fast, quick blitz presentation. So this will give you variety. Already we have a list. For example, I'll just mention a few things for you. Depression, healthy aging, practical tips to handle elderly and dementia, insomnia in elderly, palliative care in elderly, social technology used in elderly, creating an elder-friendly environment, elder abuse. These are the topics they have chosen, and they are raring to go. So I won't hold them back. So let me, discuss the ground rules first. So they'll have 5 plus 1 minutes, that's 6 minutes in total. So there'll be a bell at the beginning to say start. And then at the end of 5 minutes, they'll say, somebody will say 1 minute. And then at the end of 6 minutes, it's time's up. And they're asked to have only 5 slides. Let's see how they go about. And then there won't be any questions here. So if you have any questions, that can be at the end of all the presentations after about 50 minutes to 1 hour. If we have time, we can discuss about that. But that's not the whole issue. The issue is let them get experience. So without wasting much time, let me invite Dr. Megha. Dr. Megha, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Just we also tell the judges.
Yeah, there are about
2 items.
There are.
What is the thing what they wrote?
Yeah. So there are judges in the audience, so we won't reveal their names right now. Judges are requested to mark all these 8 participants. We would try and go in the same order. what we have given to you. And there are two aspects they'll be scoring on. One is effectiveness in communication, and the first thing is the content, appropriateness of the content they have chosen to discuss here. So those two aspects will have 10 marks each, and total of 20 marks by one judge. We have requested 5 judges to be present, and so with this, I forgot to welcome all the viewers who are ready to go and take be with us and enjoy this program. Okay, with this, I invite Dr. Megha. You have to say time's up. Time starts
now, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Megha, and today I'll be presenting about depression. So, what exactly is depression? Depression is one of the common mental health problems which is prevalent in our country. If we go by figures, approximately 1 in every 14th person is suffering from depression in India. So, what exactly it is depression? What do you mean by depression? So whenever a person shows signs like irritability, reduced interaction with other family members or friends, loss of interest in activities which were previously enjoyable to that person, difficulty in remembering things, difficulty in concentrating while he or she is working, becoming slow in their day-to-day activities, having difficulty while sleeping, reduced appetite. Sometimes they start speaking about their making will. They start saying things about what will happen when I won't be here, thinking that life is not worth living. When all these things, when we see such things, and when these are persistent, not only for a day or two, when they keep on happening for a couple of days, for at least 2 to 3 weeks, that is what we mean by depression. So why does depression happen? So there are multiple reasons because of which depression can happen. It can happen due to chemical imbalance in the brain. It can happen because there is family history of their family members having any psychiatric illness, history of traumatic events, becoming socially isolated, staying alone, transitions in their roles. So once they were working, now they have retired, they are no longer working, sudden change in their social roles. Substance use, for example, using alcohol, smoking, and using any other drugs, and medical conditions. So we know that in old age, many medical conditions are more prevalent, such example, having hypertension, diabetes, thyroid problems. So all these various things are the risk factors for any person to suffer from depression. The most important thing, okay, fine, the person is having depression, he suffered from this. Is it something which can be treated? Which is the most common question which comes into our mind whenever a person is suffering from any kind of psychiatric illness. So yes, depression is something which is a treatable condition. Various options are available for treatment. It can be treated with the help of medications. It can be treated by therapies, counseling, and some other different modes of treatment are also available. For example, you might have come across ECT or electroconvulsive therapy. These days, some things which you may have heard is TDCS or RTMS. So these are various other new interventions which have of late come into the field of treatment of depression. So it is a very much treatable disorder. It is something which can be taken care of. So coming to what can we do? If someone of our near and dear one is suffering from depression, what is it that we should be able to do? What can we do to help them out? So the first thing which you should always do is encourage them to seek help. This is something for which treatment is available. It can become better. So you should always encourage them to seek help. Accompany them, involve them in activities. So you can help out in doing some chores which they are doing. If they are not willing to do something, you encourage them. Okay, fine, I'm going outside. Will you want to accompany me for a walk? I'm going to do some grocery shopping. Would you like to join me while I'm going and doing the same? And try to involve them in whatever things you are doing. For example, if you're watching TV, you're watching some video, you are playing a small board game, ask them to come and play with you. However, accompanying them or encouraging them to involve in things doesn't mean forcing them. If they don't want to talk to you, you should not be too much pushy. You should not force them because it will further increase their irritability. So you should encourage them, suggest them, but you should not be too pushy. You should not force them a lot. Also, another thing which you Another thing which you can, through which you can help them is by making sure that they are having their meals on time, they are taking their medications on time, maybe accompanying them for their follow-up visits with the doctors. So these are some of the things which you can do to play at least your part in helping your relatives, friends, whoever who is suffering from depression. Now, is it something which can be prevented? Say my father had depression, will I also have the same thing? Or I had one episode of depression in the past, will I have that same episode again in the future? It is also one of the common doubt which comes into our mind. So yes, it can, you can take some steps which can help to reduce the chances of the disorder recurring. So you should lead a healthy lifestyle, as we always encourage to everyone. You should get involved indulge in physical activity. You should get an adequate sleep, have a proper meal. You should engage in social engagement, go out, indulge with other people. You can learn a new skill, especially when it comes to elderly in our old age. What all things can we do now? We have spent most of our life doing what all things we were used to doing, and we had a routine. Now, suddenly, all of a sudden, after retirement, I'm having a lot of time. What should I do now? So maybe you can try to learn new skills. You can reach out to other nearby people who belong to your age group. You can join some other support groups or community clubs which are there. Whatever things you had planned earlier that I wanted to do them when I will retire, you can start doing those things. In addition to all these things, if you are on medications, you have to continue visiting your doctors for those medications, be it for your medical illnesses, be it for any psychiatric illness. Keep adherence to the medications. So these are some of the things which, if you follow, it can reduce the chances of having a recurrence of a disorder of that episode again. Thank you.
Next is, thanks, Dr. Megha. It's Dr. Abhishek who will speak on healthy aging.
Yeah, good afternoon, one and all. So I'm going to speak about healthy aging. So then before healthy aging, we need to know what is health. So WHO, that is World Health Organization, defines health as a physical, social, as well as mental well-being, not only the merely absence of any disease. So that means we need to have like wellness. So either physically or socially or mentally. It's not only the absence of disease. So as we know, older adult will be having like proneness for many physical and mental health issues. So that's why the concept of healthy aging has come into picture. So the focus is from illness to the wellness. So though despite having so many ailments or deficits, how we are able to managing with meaningful, satisfactory or contributory life. So that is all about healthy aging. So WHO again defines healthy aging as the process of developing and maintaining the functional ability that enables well-being in an older age. So it will emphasize on the functional ability despite having old age-related ailments. So to help in meaningful, satisfactory and contributory life despite having deficits. So when we look into healthy aging, so what are the things that are important to maintain the healthy aging? So this is again has been put forward by the studies from old age people themselves. So they only have identified what is important for their life, like to lead a healthy life. So the more important things are the physical and mental health. This is the most important thing that is required for promoting as well as to maintaining the healthy aging, and the cordial relationship with the friends and family members, and financial security. So again, socially, so to lead the independent life. So financially, the old age people need to be secure, and engaging in meaningful activities. It may be physical activities, so depending on the functional capacity of an individual, or it may be mental activities like cognitive activities. So it's a spectrum from simple activity to the complex activities. Some people may not have that much of cognitive ability to do the complex activities. So depending on their capacity, we need to tailor the activities. And also the quality of life. So that is very important for maintaining the healthy aging. And depending on the functional capacity in the old age, there are three categories. So the old people with high and stable capacity. The second one is old people with declining capacity, and the people with significant loss of capacity. The first category, high and stable capacity, where the older people will be having the higher capacity as almost as similar to the adult counterpart, and they are able to carry out their all the activities without much help. So in that group, what we need to do? So first we need to focus on the preventive aspects. So because they are mentally as well as physically predominantly healthy, so we need to focus on the preventive aspect to how to prevent the further or the upcoming illnesses. So that is one thing, and to promote and maintain the healthy lifestyles. So for example, physical activities as well as mental activities, exercises, meditation, etc., as well as the cognitively stimulating activities, and the abstinence from any substances. So that is important, and periodic health checkup to monitor the health status of an individual. So in the second category, declining capacity. So where the people will be having gradual decline in their functional capacity. So already they would have had some illness which has been there, either physical or mental illness. So what we have to do in that category? So in those groups, we need to focus on the either reversing or treating the illness which is already there. And if at all, if patient or the person is having high risk for getting any illness, we need to focus on the early detection and treatment of that illness. And supportive aids, any like the ambulatory aids as well as walking sticks or the hearing aids, so sensory aids, all those things are important, and prevent the complication of already existing illness. So that is the main focus that we need to give in declining capacity individuals. So the third category is the individuals who are already having significant loss of capacity. So they may not be able to carry out their activities. They may not be able to lead their life on their own without other support. So that is the third category. So here we need to focus upon the palliative care and long-term care facilities and supportive environment creation. So in this aspect, so one most important thing is age-friendly environment. So age-friendly environment is an environment which is inclusive and accessible for the elderly individual, which includes housing, transport, health system, which is accessible and affordable, and outdoor spaces and buildings and communication. And it also involves social participation as well as respect for the elderly and inclusion of the elderly individuals and employment creation for the same. And it helps in improving the quality of life and promoting healthy aging. So because healthy aging is important, United Nations have come up with the concept of decade of healthy aging, that is dedicated decade 2021 to 2030, which has got four main objectives: promoting the changes in attitude towards the aging and older people in other common public, enabling the age-friendly environment and person-centered care services as well as long-term care.
Thanks, sir.
So before concluding, so take-home points with respect to healthy aging is we need to know what is healthy aging. We need to know what are the categories of the functional capacity, and how do we promote the healthy aging? How do we create the age-friendly environment? Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Abhishek. That was on healthy aging. That was Abhishek for the judges. The next participant is Dr. Apurva. She'll be speaking on practical tips to handle elderly and dementia. So for judges, it's Dr. Apurva.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Apurva, and I'll be giving some simple practical tips to handle elderly and people with dementia, and also some simple brain stimulating exercises which can be done easily at home. Living with elderly people is not easy. As depicted in this movie Piku, wherein he did not have dementia, he just had old age, we found that they have so many medical complaints, so many worries about health, finances, children, and overall with age, they do tend to become a bit stubborn. Children who are living with them, they have different challenges. They may have loss of privacy at home. There may be certain aspects of caregiving which they may not be comfortable with, like the toilet activities, the smell, and so on. They may have feeling of obligation or guilt, and that bit more work. It's tougher for people who have dementia. There may be memory problems where they can misplace things. They may need help for even simplest of activities. There may be behavioral disturbances like them getting angry, irritable, medical complaints, and expenses. But despite all of this, there are multiple benefits of living with the elderly people, starting with minimizing expenses, which we would spend at a residential care home. We will save that money. Easy accessibility. In terms of emergency, or in cases of emergency, I would rather have my parents 2 doors away rather than 2 cities away. Mutual assistance. Parents obviously will help in simple household chores or taking care of the children. And leaving all of that, it just helps in better bonding and a sense of protection mutually. So how can we achieve this? For elderly people who don't have dementia, first, let's establish some realistic care expectations. What all they can do, what all we can provide. And assessing this gap, provide them the different kind of arrangements. Maintain your boundaries, maintain your relationship with your spouses, and preserve your own lifestyle. Always think ahead. Get legal help, see insurances, how are the finances, know the doctors and medications. Often elderly people have the desire on how they want to be at the end of life care, how much life support system they want when they are dying. So talk about it. In people with dementia, we need to go one step ahead. Establish routines for them, support their independence as much as possible, maintain healthy communication, speak clearly, speak loudly, speak at their own level. Simplify tasks for them. For example, when they are wearing clothes, give them options what all to wear. Arrange the clothes in the way they are supposed to be worn. Maintain some sense of humor. Speak about the past. Nutrition, hygiene, health goes without the saying. Help make best of the person's existing abilities. So for example, say somebody used to like gardening. Instead of giving them the whole garden, give them a corner of the garden wherever they can do their activities. If that's not possible, give them a big potted plant where they can do. If that's also not possible, give them a small potted plants and assist them there. If that's also not possible, just leave them in a garden and let them enjoy the nature. Use memory aids. Put stick-on notes at different places. Make multiple lists. For dementia in early and middle stages, when it comes to cooking, label various cabinets, label the masalas, give them the recipes, or give them written instructions on how to follow a microwave, how to operate a microwave. For bathing, dressing, ensure that there are safety measures available around. Make them wear some simple clothes which can be easily removed and worn. The soles of the shoes should be non-slippery. When they have the tendency of losing things and accusation of thefts, see what are the favorite places they usually hide things. Have an extra key in case anything goes wrong. For sexual relationships and inappropriate behavior, always seek an expert's opinion. For middle and late stages, always take help. There is no point in doing that alone. Take help. For toileting and incontinence, maintain 2-hour schedules. Make them wear diapers. For eating, remind them to eat slowly. It could be hot. Or give them simple finger foods or dal and rice mixed in one bowl. If they have repetitive behavior or questioning tendencies, write answer on a whiteboard so that they can see that over and over again. If they have wandering tendencies, lock the doors at night or put a ID bracelet kind of thing with your phone number there, and so on. So at home, cognitively stimulating exercises, what all can be done? First of all, physical exercises, socialization, nature walks, tops everything. Some people have enjoyment with music therapies, meditation, yoga, which helps them consolidate more of their mind and thoughts. We encourage people to write journals of their experiences, people who have passed away, reading books of their own interest. If they are interested in art and craft, encourage them to make quilts or woolens, do something with the clay, or just drawing and painting. Simple games like puzzles, board and card games, Sudoku, or something with children like playing housey or bingo, that helps them. Various computer games, video games, mobile applications are available these days like Brain Train, Lumosity. Sometimes everyday activity with a twist. And see if they can brush with opposite hand or dial phone with an opposite hand. If they are interested and legible, encourage them to get into support services and NGOs. I believe movies are
very good education mediums. So English movies like Iris, The Father. In Hindi, there was this movie Black. And in Kannada, a movie like Godi Bana Sadhane Maikattu. These movies have depicted how a person with dementia feels. So let's try all these activities together and make living together a pleasant and a fulfilling experience. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Apurva. I take this opportunity to also welcome Professor Somsekhar Bijjal and his team from Gadag Institute of Medical Sciences in Gadag, the Department of Psychiatry. So I can see several PGs sitting there. Thank you for joining us. So without wasting much time, I'll invite Dr. Aarti, who will be speaking on insomnia in elderly. So it will be Dr. Aarti. For the sake of judges again, Dr. Aarti it is.
A very good evening to all of you. So I'm Dr. Aarti and I will be speaking about a very relevant topic, very common and important topic, insomnia in elderly. So what is insomnia? To put it simply, it is poor sleep. So it is a dissatisfaction with the sleep quality or quantity. You can experience it as difficulty in initiating sleep or in getting to sleep, or difficulty in maintaining sleep. You wake up and then you are not able to go back to sleep. It is so difficult for you. Or it can be early morning awakening. You wake up much earlier than your usual time, say 2 hours earlier, and then you are not able to sleep. And this causes significant distress and impairment in functioning. And medically, when it lasts for at least 3 days per week, for 3 months, we diagnose it as insomnia. And distress means that next day you are very much tired, you are very much fatigued, you are not able to concentrate on anything, you are feeling sleepy in between so that you cannot carry on with your usual activities. So what is special about insomnia in elderly? So I want to mention just 3 points. One thing, if you are having these problems, you are not alone. It is seen in about 50% of elderly individuals. Second thing, is insomnia normal in elderly? Should we give it that much of an importance? It is, we know that as person ages, the sleep pattern does get affected. You may fall asleep earlier and wake up earlier. There may be fragmentation of some sleep, but it does not affect your functioning or cause distress. So when your sleep disturbance is associated with distress, it is insomnia, and that has to be addressed. An elderly is expected to get at least 5 to 7 hours of satisfactory sleep without any distress. And next point, that brings me to my next point. That is, this distress should not be normalized because it does have consequences. It can lead on to you developing hypertension, diabetes, cognitive issues, cardiac illness, and depression, and so on. So what are the common causes of insomnia? There are a multitude of causes. Some important ones are that first is your lifestyle changes, that there may be erratic sleeping patterns, erratic eating patterns. You may be using alcohol or tobacco that can interfere with your sleep. There may be excessive use of electronic gadgets, especially post-retirement. That is one phenomena that we see. So all these things can interfere with your sleep. And next is the medications that you are taking. Many medicines have the potential to interfere with your sleep and lead to insomnia. It may be something like pain that is preventing you from sleeping. It may be something related to your brain disorders or the stress that is keeping you awake, or psychiatric illnesses, especially depression and anxiety. It is also seen in lung diseases, some airway diseases like obstructive sleep apnea, where your breathing gets obstructed while you sleep and you become breathless while you are sleeping. Then it can be seen associated with heart disease, and it associated with many endocrine hormonal problems. And if nothing else is there, it can be primary. There may be no other reason for your insomnia. It may be primarily that trouble only. So what can you do about it? So mainly 3 things I would tell. One is sleep hygiene. This is nothing but a set of practices, some do's and don'ts, what you have to do and what you should not do to ensure good sleep. And I will be coming to it in the next slide in detail. And next is avoid self-medication. Avoid self-medicating yourself with alcohol or over-the-counter drugs because it can have long-term consequences. You may get addicted to it, or you may be using the wrong medicine for the kind of sleep problem that you are having, or long-term use, it may impair with your memory problems. Then when sleep hygiene is not working, please get help. So you can approach a medical practitioner or a mental health professional to get evaluated, and they will assess your sleep problem, and they will treat the cause if it is present. If any specific cause if it is present, they will treat you with behavioral interventions also. It is not like you are having sleep problem and immediately medicine. So there are many specific behavioral techniques that they can guide you with, specific therapy that they can guide you with, so that your sleep will improve. And then they will assess the need for medications and prescribe accordingly. So next is coming to sleep hygiene. So as I mentioned, you can follow it even before you develop sleep disturbance. It can be a preventive as well as a treatment thing. So the few things that you can do is that have a regular sleep schedule. Go to sleep and wake up at a fixed, regular time periods. Ensure a good sleeping environment, in the sense that have a comfortable bed, dark, without much noise, and preferably a slightly cooler environment, but that is up to you. Then have regular exercise in your routine. Limit the use of caffeinated beverages. And it is better if you can unwind for an hour before bed, in the sense that you can chat with your family members, do some light reading. Do some light reading and use bed only for sleeping, not for using your mobile or gadgets, not for eating. And there are some don'ts. Don't watch the clock to see if you are sleeping or not, and prevent heavy exercises just before going to the bed. As mentioned, avoid gadgets, excessive use. Do not have an heavy dinner prior to going to sleep. Avoid alcohol and smoking, and do not encourage daytime naps. You can sleep for 30 minutes if you want. In elderly, that is permissible, but not more than that. So summing up, insomnia is the dissatisfaction with sleep. Remember and follow sleep hygiene, and do not normalize it if you are having insomnia, and do get help. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aarti. That was Dr. Aarti. Next participant is Dr. Rahul. Dr. Rahul will be discussing on palliative care in elderly.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Rahul. I have been given the opportunity to speak on palliative care in the elderly. Before I go on to the topic, I have a question or a term for the audience to ponder about. What is good that? Basically, what it asks is, how do you think a person should pass away in the end stages of life? While you ponder on the question, I'll give you two scenarios to think about it. On the left, you see a patient, Rakesh, 75-year-old, diagnosed with lung cancer, which has spread it to the brain. Doctors have given 2 cycles of chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and a poor prognosis. Family members, however, still have hope that patient might improve. They continue to go to the hospitals, visit they have multiple admissions, do multiple investigations, continue chemo cycles. Rakesh passes after 6 months of the diagnosis. In comparison, there is a patient called Shanti, 69-year-old, diagnosed with a cardiac failure, stage D, which is one of the end stages of cardiac failure. The doctor gave a similar prognosis with no curable treatment as such. Family members take the patient home, prepare a separate room for her, take care of her. Family members, far relatives, children, grandkids visit her. She is being taken care of herself. She is provided support. She visits the doctor continuously once weekly for her symptoms, for any issues, and takes medications as and when symptoms arise. She passes 3 months later the diagnosis. So herein, there are 2 comparisons of how end stage life can progress and can end. Basically, even though Rakesh lived 6 months, do you think his prolonged life was of better quality, or compared to Shanti in the 3 months she lived? So this is the concept which I wanted to talk about. Palliative care. Basically, the importance is given to care rather than treating the illness. It focuses on improving the quality of life, accepting that death is a normal dying process. The palliative care doesn't focus on hastening or postponing death, doesn't focus on treating it. It's just supporting whatever is required for the patient to pass on through the end stage of life. It integrates the psychosocial, spiritual aspects of patient's life, which helps in most of the patients to go through this process, and it offers a support system for the same. So why do we need it? Why do we need palliative care. So in this aspect, I am reminded of a famous movie quote from Anand movie, wherein the protagonist says, Babu Mishai, zindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi. So for my non-Hindi audience, it means he says that life should be large, not long. So this is at the core of palliative care, focusing on quality of life, taking patient's decision making in the end, what the patient wants at his end stages of life, advanced directives, will making what he wants or she wants to do in the end stages. There is focus on multidisciplinary care, involvement of physicians, surgeons, pain specialists, anesthetists, psychiatrists, social workers, physiotherapists to provide the best care possible for the patient. Open communication between the patient, between the physician, between the family members to accept the end stage of life and how to move forward. So the next question comes, when does palliative care start? So the answer is at the time of diagnosis. Surely, initially, there will be more curative nature of treatment. There will be more focus on helping as much as possible to salvage the pathology, the illness. If possible, the treatment may remit. However, if the illness progresses, becomes more unstable, symptoms starts deteriorating, palliative care becomes more and more important. So as early as possible is the best answer after the diagnosis. As the illness progresses, more palliative care, palliative supports to the patient. And as there is end of life care, when the symptoms become more debilitating, patient is more dependent, no direct, more treatment focused interventions are reduced, and it continues even after the death of the patient, wherein the bereavement process involves the family members, how they are accepting the death of patient and how they move forward. So specifically coming to older people, why focus on elderly population? Basically, they are more prone to degenerative illnesses like dementia, more prone to malignant illnesses like cancer. They have more medical comorbidities, common medical comorbidities, more complications. The body response to recovery is not as good as it was in younger age. The dependency increases, financial, social, physical dependency increases on people. There is limited social interaction, predisposes to loneliness, social isolation, which is again a poor prognostic factor in any of the illnesses. Also, studies have shown that the elderly population is more neglected from the family members, from the treating team, again becomes a very important aspect of caring for elderly people. To summarize, palliative care is about caring for the patient rather than treating the illness. Focuses on improving the quality of life. Famous quote from Dame Cicely Saunders, who was the pioneer in palliative care: "You matter because you are you, and you matter to the last moment of your life. We will do all we can, not only to help you die peacefully, but also to live until you die." Thank you.
That was Dr. Rahul. Thank you, Dr. Rahul. Sixth participant is Dr. Ramya, and she'll be speaking on social technology used in elderly. For the sake of jury members, it's Dr. Ramya, number 6.
Yeah.
Wait, we need to edit slideshow. Go to slideshow. Yes. Wait.
Yes.
Time starts now.
Good evening, all. Today I'll be talking about social technologies and the use in elderly. So social technology is quite a broad term which includes any form of application or a platform that facilitates social interaction and hence a virtual network. So as the picture depicts, this is from a movie, The Intern, which shows in the last 2 decades, the world has seen a marked rise in the use of these apps and gadgets. And we have moved on from calculators, phone books to laptops and various smartphones, etc. And more apps and newer advanced ones are emerging as we speak. Now, this is in general. But what is its role with respect to our senior citizens and how it has impacted their quality of life and hence mental health? So, the HelpAge India, which is an NGO, conducted a nationwide survey in 2018 involving about 5,000 people aged 60 and above, which focused on elderly abuse. And in one of the chapters, which focuses on internet usage behavior of elders and their perception about the impact of technology. So it was seen at the national level. By and large, the internet users were very low among the elderly population, like 4%. And interestingly, elders who were living with their spouse only had a higher internet usage of about 7% as compared to those living by themselves or living with more than one family member. And coming to the gender difference, among them, the male elderly users had a slightly higher usage compared to their female elderly. And coming to which all is more commonly used. The most common, as high as 60% usage, was Facebook. And the purpose was to connect with the family members, followed by WhatsApp, and which was mostly to connect with their friends and other groups. And third most common was YouTube, which according to them were to learn new things. And few other media like Google and Twitter, etc., they were used mostly for entertainment purpose and chatting, to meet new people. And they also felt some family members are too busy or to socially connect myself other than the virtual media. So like any technology has its own pros and cons. So in the same study, about more than 65% felt that the communication is better and they feel better connected with their extended family members or their relatives, which we had ourselves seen in the COVID-19 crisis, especially during the lockdown, with a lot of uncertainty and apprehension ourselves. This practically kept us sane and reassured. And they also felt they understand the younger generation better with respect to this social technology usage. And also they felt it helped in some way in reducing the harassment against elders. Now, the second column shows mostly the scenario that we see with our family and friends. So health related, the online lab services, as you know, it makes home sampling accessible and makes them more convenient for the elderly. And even as simple as ordering medicines online, which is delivered at their doorstep. And the other common things are grocery, shopping, food delivery, and transport apps within their place. And some of the online banking services, which makes money transfers, be it from their children or among themselves, and some payments, which is more easier staying at home. And again, as a part of WhatsApp groups, like a lot of apartments have their own WhatsApp groups, be it for walking or there is a cooking group, etc., which makes life more comfortable when all the children are and the grandchildren are away for work and schooling, etc. And it keeps them well connected with the ongoing issues and by the news feeds that they see on their phone every day. And last comes recreation, as simple as the ebooks, which has an audio option, or others. So these things especially comes in handy for those in whom their children have moved out, migrated for work, etc., or those who are living abroad, and or the elderly themselves who have shifted from their hometowns to cities with their children, both ways. So coming to the challenges. So the usual challenges, again, like we last 1 minute, are the vision and the hearing deficits, which is very common in the age group. And there are specific phones designed for that with a larger font and more of picture depictions, and there is a SOS button, etc. And again, the higher mental functions such as attention, multitasking, it's quite challenging in them. And in this same study, they also felt they were unable to cope up with this fast-paced technology, and at times leaving them feeling very isolated, despite having their family members around. And again, like with any technology comes a threat to their privacy, and a lot of spam calls and related incidents have happened. And they also felt, the younger generation or their family, whom now off late give a lot of attention to their own phones and gadgets and computers, they feel quite disrespectful subjectively. And they also feel there is a reduced amount of quality personal time with their children or grandchildren. So the take-home message, again, they are, in general, elderly are a vulnerable population, be it physically, emotionally, or mentally. And the technology has to be sensitive to their needs and challenges, and balance is key. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramya. That was Dr. Ramya. The next participant, seventh participant, is Dr. Ruchi. She'll be discussing on creating an elder-friendly environment. For the sake of jury members, again, it's Dr. Ruchi, number 7.
Thanks, that's now. So today I'll be talking about creating an elder-friendly environment. Now, why do we need an elder-friendly environment? So WHO really, I think already Dr. Abhishek covered a lot about healthy aging. So it also talks about this concept called active aging, where it is not just about the absence of a disease or being physically healthy, but it also ensures or reflects the idea that people should be able to continue to participate in all spheres of life, like probably the social sphere, cultural, civic, spiritual, and the economic aspects. So for this, the physical and social environments are very key determinants of whether people can remain healthy, independent, autonomous into their old age. Now, again, the advantages of them being healthy, independent, and autonomous is not just for them. It is also for the other family members and the carers, so that they do not become a burden. You do not perceive them as a burden, and they don't feel like they are a burden. So what does an elder-friendly environment basically do? It empowers older people to age in a better physical and mental health. It promotes social inclusion and active participation. It helps them maintain their autonomy. And most importantly, it helps them have a good quality of life in their old age. So this is, again, a concept that has come up where an age-friendly society looks at the built environment, which is basically your housing, your common areas, the buildings, transportation. It looks at community and health support, which basically looks at health services and other community services that are available, and social participation, basically your recreational groups, your other community affairs. So I'll talk briefly about all these aspects. So first of all, when we look at housing, now, it's very important that we mind the traffic flow in the house. By traffic flow, I mean that nowadays there are a lot of furniture that we just keep for decor purposes, which unnecessarily clutter the environment, make it difficult for the elderly who already have problems with ambulation in ambulating in the house. Also, nowadays, again, a lot of fancy furniture come with very low-rise beds. So again, that's very counterproductive for the elderly who have difficulty in sitting, getting up because of probably knee issues, osteoarthritis, etc. So high beds, high furniture, again, it's very important. There are also ways where you can modify the existing furniture and make them at a high level. Also, when we talk about the walls and the corners of the furniture, again, if we all go back and look into our own houses, we are going to find sharp-edged walls, sharp-edged furnitures. Again, that has to be covered with foam edges. The way we baby-proof houses, there are many ways where we can elder-proof houses, and these foams are actually available on Amazon itself. Again, we use fancy tiles, fancy granites. Slip-resistant flooring is very common, especially it can be used in bathrooms. Again, an elder-friendly bathroom is very important because most of the falls happen on the slippery floors in the bathroom. Maybe having a wooden chair or having a chair while taking a bath, having railings next to the commode. Again, having a high-rise commode, so it's easy for them to sit and get up. Wherever possible, we use as much as ramps. or if there are stairs, use handrails so that they are able to walk up and down the stairs. Again, lighting becomes very important because of their own visual impairments. And also when we look at stairs, even if they do not have so much difficulty in climbing the stairs, we need to make sure that there are some adequate landing places, some chairs between sets of stairs so that they can rest for a while and then start climbing up again. Now, coming to parks and recreation. Again, this is a very important area where environment where elderly like to go. They like to go there often, socialize. So again, if you see in India, a lot of parks may not be elder friendly. You can probably look at your own park in the building. Do they have a clear, strong pavement? Is the pavement smooth enough for the elderly to walk? Are there so many puddles in the middle? Also, it's important that the pavement is clear with a contrasting color. They're also anti-slip. Also, these gardens, of course, they are supposed to walk for a bit, have some exercise, but again, in between taking few steps or in between around, are there benches in the middle for them to sit, for them to rest, and then continue walking again? Again, being close to nature is again a very important part of healthy aging, and that should be ensured. And as much as possible, use ramps more than stairs, especially for people who are on wheelchairs who would like to take a round in the garden. And also, again, a lot of them will have difficulty in controlling the urine, they'll have higher frequency of urine. So ensuring that there are enough restrooms and toilets in the parks. Now, coming to malls, again, this is something that I've mentioned because there's a lot of elderly population, the urban crowd, and also we ourselves, when we age, I think the current generation would like to go to malls more. So again, making sure there are lifts and ramps for the elderly, there's comfortable seating in and around the malls. And in general, malls are designed so that you visit more shops. So if you see that when you're going up the escalator to different floors, for me to go from the first floor to second floor, you have to roam around the entire first floor and then access the escalator, which is on the other end, to go to the second floor. So making sure these malls are friendly. Again, Tokyo has a very elder-friendly mall where they have a walking course. It in fact opens at 7 o'clock in the morning to attract the elderly crowd. They have products and services that are for the elderly, which I thought was again very interesting. And we can think of doing something like that in India as well. And of course, coming to the transport, again, do we really have adequate facilities for the elderly to travel in buses, metros, etc.? The picture there is an elder-friendly bus which runs in China, which has adequate space between seats to even park a wheelchair. So coming to the question, are we prepared to age in this environment? And what are the steps that we need to do to make changes in this environment so that we as individuals can age in a better, more comfortable environment? Thank you.
Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you. And coming to the last presentation, eighth presentation, that will be by Dr. Isha. Dr. Isha will be discussing on elder abuse. For jury members, it's Dr. Isha, number 8.
Thanks, Stats. A very good evening to everyone. I'm going to present on the topic elder abuse. Before starting the topic, I would like to tell you what is elder abuse. So it is something that a person may do or not do who is a person of trust to an elderly that causes harm to the elderly. Okay, so the person may actively do something like hitting, pushing, kicking, or not do something like not providing care, housing, food, etc. to an elderly that causes harm to an elder person. So what are the types of abuse? The types of abuse are physical abuse. So if the person actively pushes, kicks, hurts an elderly person, or a more subtle emotional abuse where a person may threaten, blackmail, etc. to an elderly, or the person may not take care of them, not provide them with adequate food, housing, etc., or abandon them altogether, which is neglect or abandonment. A person may engage in sexual intercourse without consent, which is sexual abuse, and a person may steal or misuse the money of an elderly, which is financial abuse. So why does it happen? What are the risk factors? what are the risk factors? So the risk factors are, they may be individual. If an elderly person has a physical or mental illness, is not able to take care of themselves, if they're living with their children who in turn have alcohol abuse, who do not know how to take care of an elderly, who do not have financial resources or social support, it may occur more. It also depends on the community, on how people who are taking care of elderly are perceived by the community, and the socio-cultural milieu. So in India, we have a great social picture where we respect our elderly. Children are asked to take care of the elderly, respect them since a very early age. But in cultures where this is not prevalent, the risk for elder abuse increases. So since we know that we have such a good socio-cultural milieu, does this happen in our country? Well, the answer is yes. Let's look at some statistics. So the Indian average lies at about 5.2%. But some states like Bihar, Karnataka, West Bengal have a higher rate. So we have to take this into the picture and consider elder abuse as an important topic in our country. So what are the signs? What do you have to look for when you're looking for elder abuse? So if a person stops taking part in activities, does not interact with people, he starts suddenly having insomnia, he loses weight for no reason, he has unexplained injuries, there are broken glasses, broken hearing aids that are not explained, he develops bed sores while he's ill, or he develops other preventable conditions. He is not given adequate medical aid. He does not have glasses when he needs them. He does not have hearing aids when he needs them, etc. If the environment is hazardous, unsafe, unclean, or in general, if the person appears messy, his hair are disheveled, he has not changed his clothes for a while, or he has unpaid bills despite adequate financial resources, you can suspect an elder abuse. But when you see such a thing happening, what do? So there are some helpline numbers that you can contact. There's a helpline by HelpAge India, which is an NGO, an elders helpline that is by Bangalore City Police and Nightingale Medical Trust. Then there's a senior citizen helpline that is a Government of India initiative. That is a toll-free number that you can call, or you can just dial a police number 100. I'm going to wait on this slide actually for 10 seconds in case someone wants to make a note of these helpline numbers. So I would like to thank you all. You've been a tremendous audience, and I hope that you have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Isha. So I'd like to thank all the participants who have worked hard despite their busy schedule and taken time off and worked on it and prepared and then come and presented. As initially mentioned, this was going to be a interesting one. We did. I think many would agree with me that this was an interesting variety of presentation, and we were able to listen to many of the aspects. Even I did mention to my colleague Preeti that I learned something new here, one or two things very quickly. So now the next few minutes, what will happen is I'll be asking Dr. Professor P.T. Shivakumar to speak about the journey of VMS and way forward. After that, we will give opportunity to the audience who want to speak and give feedback and any ideas they may have. In the end, we'll go to Professor Madam Shrikala Bharat for her final comments. So over to you, Professor P.T. Shivakumar.
Thanks, Vijay. I think first of all, I would congratulate my entire team who has done a very good job. A round of applause for all the presenters. I think 1 hour, I think they've shown that they can do better public awareness than many of the faculties. So I think we need to learn from them, and I think it's a really good. I think all of them have done. I was happy that I'm not the judge. So I think the judges have a call to make. And they can actually choose, and then they can send the details. And I think this is an enriching journey for us. We started almost 2 years back, and this was a thought which we thought, okay, we have been doing a lot of public awareness in a sporadic manner. We want to do it in a consistent manner. So we will give a name to it. And I thank Dr. Naveen, my colleague, who was the person who chose this name as Vayomanasa Sanjeevani, and which symbolizes that we take a lot of things to people to their doorsteps. And this is an overarching kind of a thing where all our outreach initiatives, whether it's a public awareness programs or training of lay counselors, volunteers, our services in old age homes, our telepsychiatry services, whatever we do other than what we do as a usual outpatient and inpatient care, we had put it under this umbrella term, and including promoting age-friendly environment. And we have, I should take this opportunity to thank a lot of people who have made this possible. And today we have 100th episode of this awareness program. And there are many senior citizens and volunteers and resource persons without any financial incentives. I think a lot of people across India, our colleagues and friends, have actually spent time and then made this possible. And our own team, my colleagues, Dr. Preeti and Dr. Vijay, before even he became a full-time faculty, was helping us. And I think the one thing which sustained and which motivated us was the participants and the senior citizens, volunteers. And there are few people, including my father, who's there. I think they all participate and then they appreciate. And there are few who have taken on, like when Madam Ratna Prabha is there, she had taken on a group where she was doing, they have already completed 75th program in Canada. And there is a Tamil program, VMS Nellikani, is going on, and where they do a group of programs where it is being conducted in Tamil, and that again has many episodes. So this 100 doesn't include those things. So these are Monday webinars, what we have done, and it has reached this stage. And I take this opportunity to thank our administration and all my colleagues and the team for this. And there are, we have looked back as to how we should be able to continue this meaningful. I think COVID had actually given us this opportunity for more people to get used to these online programs. When we started, initially we were a little skeptical, but I think many senior citizens have been able to kind of learn and then have able to actually participate in a very meaningful manner. And but in future, we are trying to see as to how we reinvent ourselves and try to take it more in a different manner. One of the things is I want this initiative to be used for our trainees. I think our trainees are our strengths, and we think that public awareness is something which an integral part of a doctor, and we need to get trained to do it in a consistent manner. And so that is something which in the future, I think we will expect our trainees to do more programs. And I think all these topics, whatever they have done in 5 minutes, I think they can expand and do it in a more detailed manner, and which will kind of encourage the interest, more interest. It can also help them to grow. And all your feedback, I think today all the judges are seniors, and I think we will get informally later feedback as to how they can improve and how they can do it. And the appreciations, what you give, I think it will give strength to us. And we need suggestions from seniors to how to kind of make it more meaningful and more active participation. One of the things what we have thought is that other than this program, we also want to see whether people will be interested in having a kind of a continuous sessions for maybe a certificate course. There is a geriatric mental health literacy certificate course where people can go through a set of 10 or 12 topics where they will get a kind of a some kind of more packaged information. Because here people attend, some will attend 1 session, some will attend 10 sessions, but we don't know how much we are able to actually transfer the information, what is required. So we are thinking, at least for people who are more motivated, whether we can start something like a certificate course, which is other than this regular awareness programs, what we are doing. And I think I'm sure that with all your support and encouragement, this will sustain. Today, I want to thank one person who has inspired us to conduct this kind of awareness as an important activity. My teachers, Dr. Stikla Bharat is there, Dr. Matthew Varghese is there. We all have been doing this kind of training. But I think one person I would like to acknowledge is Professor C.R. Chandrasekhar, who has been the person who have been doing, I think even today he is somewhere in North Karnataka doing awareness program by 73 or 74 years of age. He is more active than all of us. And he is an inspiration, Samadhana Counseling Center, and his activity is an inspiration for us. I'm going to give his autobiography, which is a kind of which depicts the growth of mental health and his journey as a memento to all our team members, participants, so that they also can get inspired today. And I think that's something which should he's a person whom we should get inspired. And then unfortunately today, because he's traveling, he could not join in person here. Otherwise, he would have had. And I would also like to thank some of the people who make it a point to call me and tell suggestion. One, Mr. Bhimachar, he's 90 plus, and he was supposed to join today in person, but because of some health issues, he could not join. But he always, whatever he finds good, whatever he finds something concern, he will call and tell me feedback. So that means this program is being monitored by senior citizens, and they are thinking it is useful, and they are giving us a feedback. So I think these things kept us going, and we will continue this journey. I thank every one of you for this opportunity and for this participation. And today, I think to our response, I think the response was phenomenal. I think we had a ceiling of 100 participants. So I think some of them might have not been able to join. So I didn't realize that our Zoom account had only 100. And usually our participation is 25 to 30. I think today, because to encourage all of you, we tried our best and we got a good response. So thank you. I would like to thank and communicate our gratitude for all of you to have come here. Maybe can we give the this one?
Yeah.
We will. Can we get the book? I think. Yeah. We'll just take this opportunity to thank all the presenters. Dr. Shrikala Bharat could not come in person because she has another meeting. So, Madam, I will. So, shall we ask Madam to just?
Will come in the end. Madam will come in the end. Dr.
Isha, yeah. I think all of you have done well. Excellent.
Dr. Rushi.
Yeah.
Dr. Ramya.
Congrats.
Dr. Ramya. Rahul.
I think this is an autobiography of Professor C.R. Chandrasekhar. It is something which chronicles the journey of mental health in India and his own journey.
Purva, Sheikh.
I think I also will give to our fellowship students so that they also can get encouraged. So to do this, yes.
Annapurni.
Nandini. And Nandini. Yes. I think something. Who is left?
Jayanti.
I think this is a book for everybody to read. So but I'll stop here. So thank you.
Let me invite the people from audience who may want to speak. So please, Jayanti, can you help unmute
everybody?
And,
unmute everybody.
they can share
Raise hands.
experiences. So you can raise your hands. It'll be easy because there are almost nearly 100 people.
Yeah.
Dr. Vijay.
We'll do a formal vote of thanks. I think I forgot to mention IPS Casey. Yeah, that will be done. Yeah.
Dr. Vijay, you want to say something? Professor Vijay?
They can unmute themselves.
Mr. Nagaraj Rao.
Vijay has left Vijay.
Okay. That's Mr. Nagaraj Rao has raised a hand. Yeah. Mr. Nagaraj Rao.
He left. I saw that he left.
Say the name.
Mr. Nagaraj Rao, you can talk.
So you can unmute yourself.
You can unmute, sir. You can unmute yourself. I think let's just call.
Mr. Nagraj, unmute yourself.
No, just a minute.
No,
Just a minute.
unmute.
I think there is some technical issue. Just call this person. We have made and they cannot unmute. I think there's some settings they've changed.
No, I can. I was able to unmute myself.
No, only some. I think there is
That is so much, ma'am.
So we had made. How do we do it? Just
Shri Ranganathan Rao sir has also
just give me a minute. Okay. We are sorting that out. Maybe Shikla madam can talk.
Ma'am, Shikla ma'am, while the technology being sorted out to give the chance to audience to speak, Dr. Shikla ma'am, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful platform and also the program. And I congratulate the Vayomanasa Sanjeevani team of NIMHANS for being, any program, lot of programs can get initiated with a lot of enthusiasm, but later they petter off because of the lack of involvement of the people who are the audience and also the target population. Whereas here, I think all the elderly who are actively participating in it seem to be the success of the story of this, and the 100th episode is a very, very good example of that. And I'm sure it will not stop here, and it will continue to go for the next many, I think, episodes. And I can see that. And a lot of activities are being also planned by the team, which is very good. And as PT said, the COVID seems to have shown the way forward. And I'm very happy to see that most of us, I'm also an elderly person, we are all using technology to our advantage. But at the same time, I also was very nice to see that all the young people are getting trained and becoming more and more aware of health and mental health. It's mainly health, because in elderly, we cannot separate mental health and health. So that health is not only within the hospital, but more at home and also in the community. So that is the most important message that the young people who work with elderly need to understand. And that seems to have come through very clearly in their involvement and the topics which they have chosen, because they have talked about things which are more often seen in the elderly, and that's very good. So I will, of course, the judges would give their comments on each of the presentation and who is the winner. And I think all the topics were quite relevant. So
chat box.
And I can see that it is not only the elderly who are participating here. I can see quite a few young people also who are participating by the pictures. I can see that there's a counselor, Divya Rao, then I can see some Manudev. So I see that it has kindled a lot of interest in the next generation also, because the need is there. How technology has become the day-to-day, bread and butter of most of us, and we seem to be breathing in and breathing out technology. I see that younger people who are in various social walks of life, whether they are in technology, whether they are in health, or whether they are in some other profession, they seem to have very keen interest in what is happening to this graying India. It is graying slowly, but it is definitely graying. And I think that is very important I think most of the younger people are getting to understand that. And while I see that people have talked about topics, whether it is depression or healthy aging or, palliative care or how to create an elderly friendly environment in India, I think there is a long way to go. And these people, with the example of the VMS team, has to be the torch bearers to fight for that and create revolutions and make what we sort of say, in theory, has to be put into practice. And that would need a lot of effort, coordinated effort from various people in the community to make that possible, at least if not for this generation. For example, an environment-friendly society for the elderly. It's not available today, but at least I think the next generation should have it. And it is all in the hands of young people, both the community and also in the clinic like Vijay and the other senior residents. And equally the community. if the community has to have that facility, it has to become empowered and fight for its rights. They have to fight for it, otherwise it will not come, especially in a country like India. But I think the torch has been lit, but it has to glow brightly and continue to grow. And I congratulate the team once again for the initiative, and I wish them all success in the coming episodes. And I think I should really appreciate somebody, I think he said Ratna, who has done about 75 programs, and also the Tamil programs. I think they are all torch bearers. It should not stop with just spreading awareness theoretically, but something also in practice. Thank you very much for inviting me, and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Shikalavat ma'am. You're always an inspiration for us, and thank you for agreeing to participate in the program, and it's a pleasure to have you. We move on to the audience. I mean,
There are people who raise hands by hands.
yeah, there are some hands which are raised, so we'll give a chance. Mr. Nagaraj Rao, can you please unmute yourself and say a few words?
Now it has been unmuted. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Dr. Shivakumar.
Yes.
It was very nice to participate, first of all, in the event, 100th event. You have beaten the century. So you go beyond that in T20, beyond that. As a super senior citizen, I appreciate this particular event. I have been following it up. I have been interacting with Dr. Shivakumar, and I am propagating it throughout the apartments, being the president of the Apartment Federation. Many people are interested. And coming back to the name as such, I congratulate whosoever it is. Excellent name, Vayomanasa Sanjeevani. I keep on telling wherever I have an opportunity to speak that NIMHANS has come out like this. NIMHANS was little heard of earlier, except for the senior citizens getting into the hospital, but now it has become a household name. And I have made it so well that Vayomanasa Sanjeevani is an excellent opportunity, especially for senior citizens, to take care of themselves and also to disseminate this information. Thirdly, as now I've already sent my marks at the end of the last session. It was at 5:01. I sent it to Dr. Shivakumar on WhatsApp. Now I can speak. Everyone is fully knowledgeable. It was very difficult for me to judge. It was only the difference was mostly on the presentation part of it. Could be the limitation of 5 minutes. They would have done much better. I wish that each one of the subjects is taken full note of and expanded as 7 people. It could be 70 sessions individually. Thank you once again. Congratulations for the entire team, Dr. Shivakumar. I don't see Gina, who was very active in all the earlier this one. I don't see her here, but congratulations for the entire team, Dr. Shivakumar. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Nagaraj Rao. That was very pleasant, so kind of you to have appreciated our efforts, and we want your cooperation. We want to reach to as many apartments as possible. So I need your help. Please do continue to support us. We'll move on to Mr. Jambunathan, who also has been a regular attender. So please, can you unmute yourself, Mr. Jambunathan?
Thank you, Doctor. See, Dr. Shivakumar and his team, I like to because my chairman has already spoken whatever I need to talk. Mr. Nagaraj Rao is our chairman.
Thank you.
He has already spoken. But I really congratulate you for this excellent presentation on day. It was a capsule program. I should say that today everything is coming in the form of capsule. No longer there are tablets. This capsule program has captivated all of us. That's one way I should take. I really thank all of you for this entire initiative. And we only assure that whatever be your initiatives, we are always with you and we will support you. Thank you. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Jambunathan. We'll move on to Lalita Kandaswamy, I guess. Kandaswamy, yes. Ma'am, Lalita. You want to unmute and speak?
Okay, thank you. Now I'm unmuted. Good evening, everyone. I am Lalita Kandaswamy. I am also part of Yogakshema. I have been attending these Vayomanasa programs as often as I can, and I thank Madam Ratnaprabha for her efforts. And today's program, I have not attended this Monday's program earlier, and I should also say that most of these messages appear in Kannada that I cannot read, so I have no idea exactly what the messages convey. So I would say that today's program, which I happened to attend, really it was a mind-blowing effort by all the doctors, and I really appreciate. My question is, would we be able to get a recording, because it is very obvious that this information which we have got about this elderly care from these doctors will not be easily available. They have put in effort to collect and make the contents in a very concise but very effective manner. So my first question is, would it be available for us, this recording, in some
madam.
form or other?
Yes, madam. They're all available on YouTube. It will be under Vayomanasa Sanjeevani. You go to videos and click. We also will be transferring that to our through our website, so you can also access through our website also. So now it's available in YouTube.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And then, is this Vayomanasa only with regard to this illnesses pertaining to NIMHANS, or any illness of the elderly?
Any illnesses. We had, like I mentioned earlier, we had regarding our orthopedic joints, then pain, then diabetes, hypertension, cardiac, kidney. We had urinary tract, and even cancer. So many other illnesses also we covered. Like I mentioned earlier, social causes, social problems also, safety. Like there's a police officer 2-3 weeks back. So we covered, almost other areas also.
All the episodes are available in the YouTube. Vayomanasa Sanjeevani. Please subscribe, or please actually see these episodes and give your feedback. And it is about aging and related issues. Aging, mental health is obviously will get main focus because we are mental health professionals. But I think we feel that it's a holistic approach where everything is related. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lalita Kansami.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much.
I invite Madam Divya.
Divya Rao.
Just one more thing, I would like your addresses and also will be and numbers, if you want to talk to you, will be available on YouTube.
Our website has information, contact information. Please approach us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's okay.
Also put it in the chat box of our website. You can
Divya Rao, madam, you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Talk. Yes.
Hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Hello, this is Divya.
NIMHANS.
So this was the first webinar of mine with this thing, Vayomanasa. Actually, I got one of my groups. Recently, I finished my lay counseling with NIMHANS, and I've got through the exam. So today's webinar was very nice. Like we got lots of information, and also it was a very good presentation. Thanks to NIMHANS team and Vayomanasa team. And also, I wanted just to know how we'll get the links, or you was telling that you have every Mondays the webinars. So how can we go about it to attend the webinars?
Yes. Please, if your contact details, you can share it to our coordinator. We are posting in many groups. I think this is a group. I think maybe Dr. Naveen was coordinating the lay counseling course. You might have attended that, I think. So we will also forward the information to them. And once you attend, I think we will be able to send all the programs details to you. So it is also posted in our website, VMS website, and you should be able to get updates from that.
Okay, through the YouTube.
YouTube as well as website. Website is there, social media handles are there. We'll make it even more accessible to you as much as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation to all the doctors and also the Vayomanasa team. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Sekhar is there.
We'll move on to Mr. Sekhar.
Yeah, good evening and congratulations to Vayomanasa Sanjeevani team. I'm Shekhar from Serene Urbana. Instantly, in the morning, we had a very enlightening session by Dr. Professor Sivakumar. Of course, this is the first time I'm attending this webinar. Of course, all the presentation, everything was very good. I have a small suggestion. See, now, of course, your name itself is Vayomanasa. So aiming, rather targeting the elders. But now I feel the society has to be prepared. Rather, if you can throw some program in the corporates, maybe, see, now these days, all nuclear families. See, the joint families have failed. So the corporates, maybe, so people are very busy. See, they don't have time. So it is better to prepare them to handle their elders. This is my small suggestion. Also, you can go down to even school level, maybe 12th, 11th and 12th students, See, though we feel they are young, but they are the people who have been prepared to handle the elders. So this is my suggestion. And thank you very much. And it's a good program. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I think we had today morning, I had opportunity to interact with almost 75 young senior citizens. So they're all very active and they had a very good interaction for nearly 2 hours. And I think it was a very wonderful to connect with you all. And I think that's a very good community where I think we expect you to play more active role in our Vayomanasa Sanjeevani program also. Thanks for the suggestion, sir. Sir, we are working with corporates and schools, colleges. As I told earlier that we will also take your suggestion and then probably plan more such programs. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Professor P.D. Shivakumar. Thanks, Mr. Sekhar. Before I move on to Dr. Preeti, I'd like to.
Vote of thanks.
Yeah, vote of thanks. Before that, I'll just mention all of you presented very well, very nicely. You worked hard, you prepared well. You really done, given your best. So it's a learning process. So with time, I think I'm sure you'll do much better. So as Dr. Shrikala ma'am already mentioned, we had variety and we had, it was nice to listen to. And because of this variety and short talks, for us also to keep our attention, it was good. So thank you one and all. Before I move on to,
I have to give the credit to Dr. Vijay Kumar Herbishater for suggesting this this plan for the 100 program. It is his brainchild. Blitz competition. Okay, and he has.
I must pass on that credit to Madam Prabha Chandra because it was our first. It was started by Prabha Chandra for the first time. So it's just that I've been continuing that this competition for SRs and JRs and many other doctors as well. So over to you, Dr. Preeti, for a vote of thanks. Thank you.
So now it's time to end this program. Unfortunately, it has to end, but that also means that we would be able to get some new ways of using this Vayomanasa Sanjeevani team for helping our elderly. Most important, I think NIMHANS has been always helping as an institute and the director particularly with our suggestions to improve our services, not only clinical but also community based. And then with the help of, as Professor P.T. Shivakumar said, that Professor CRC and the volunteers associated with them who helped us to continue this Vayomanasa Sanjeevani even without much monetary support which we had. We had, I think, all the resources, whomsoever we approached for conducting the program in different languages, they helped us to conduct, and I think all the participants would say that the programs have been quite helpful. Today, especially our juries who have taken very sincere time to give the feedback for the presentations, and so that the presentation which was best could be selected and they would get
Prize in the
prizes on 21st September on the World Alzheimer's Day. I also would like to thank our collaborators, primarily IEPS, KC and Samadhana Counseling Centers, who have motivated us and helped us to continue this important cause. Maintaining our website and the counseling portal icons, the pharmaceutical company has helped us a lot in terms of technical for today's presentation, and earlier by the telemedicine psychiatry. The technical support has helped us to conduct this program. NIMHANS Digital Academy NDA has helped us to conduct these programs without major glitches. And as one of you was asking for, and we also agree that Gina was a great support for us, and we really miss her on this 100th program because she was the one who made it through till now. And initially, when she wasn't there, one of the PhD scholars in Psychiatry Social Work Department, Mrs. Cecil Vasantra, has helped us a lot. And I think all of you who had participated and our whole team who tried to work, and still I think we have a lot more to go. We have got some suggestions also. The website link is there. We have for feedback, support, contact. Please give your advices so that we can work on, improve upon. There's a lot more scope to do the things and get connected to us. We'll look forward to the next program. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you very much. Gina is traveling today, so she could not join. So she's going somewhere and she's left. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All doctors should have been given next program one by one, because very short duration they have presented well, and more participants are huge. We are not able to give time.
We are already giving them. We have told them. So topics are already done. So they will do a detailed program. So
on the same topic, which we have selected.
Yeah. They will do
next 6 weeks we are done.
Yes.
No, 8 weeks we are done.
Coming days.
Yeah. Thanks. This is my father. Thank you very much.
Well.
He's a regular attender and he gives feedback also.